You know that feeling when you open your investment app, not because you need to, but because you have to check what happened today? Up 2% feels amazing. Down 3%, suddenly your entire future looks questionable. It's like your mood is tied to a number that changes every few seconds. And here's the uncomfortable truth. That habit right there is exactly why most people never become wealthy. There's a specific shift that separates people who build real wealth from those who stay stuck reacting to the market. And it's not about picking better stocks. It's not about timing the market. It's about stopping the constant checking. My name is Andrew, and I spend way too much time thinking about money, investing psychology, and why some people quietly build wealth while others sabotage themselves without even realizing it. If you want to understand how wealth actually works, not just the surface level advice, stick with me. Please subscribe to my channel so I can release more videos.
Great, thanks for subscribing.
Now let me ask you something. When you think about investing, what do you imagine? Maybe it's someone glued to charts all day, or someone constantly buying and selling at the perfect moment. That's what most people think wealth building looks like. But that's not reality. Real wealth is built in long stretches of doing nothing, and there's a hidden barrier that stops most people from ever reaching that point: the need to constantly check and react. Think about it like this. Imagine planting a tree and then digging it up every single day to check if it's growing. You'd destroy it. But that's exactly what people do with their investments. Every time the market dips, they panic. Every time it rises, they get greedy. And instead of letting growth happen, they interfere. Checking your portfolio daily keeps you stuck in what psychologists call reaction mode. You're not investing anymore. You're responding. When you constantly monitor your portfolio, your brain shifts into short-term thinking. Every decision becomes emotional. Should I sell before it drops more? Should I buy more before I miss out? Did I make a mistake? This isn't strategy, this is stress. And when you operate from that state, you don't make better decisions, you make faster, worse ones. But something powerful happens when you stop checking every day. Your brain finally zooms out. Instead of thinking in days, you start thinking in years. Instead of reacting to noise, you focus on trends. Instead of asking, what happened today? You start asking, where will this be in 10 years? That shift alone changes everything. Here's where it gets interesting. Let's say your portfolio grows at an average of 8% per year. On any given day, that number is meaningless. Some days you'll be down 2%, other days up 1.5%. Zoomed in, it looks chaotic. Zoomed out, it's a steady climb. But if you check daily, you only see the chaos. And when all you see is chaos, you lose trust in the process. This is why most people underperform the market, even when they invest in good assets. Not because they chose the wrong investments, but because they couldn't leave them alone. They buy when things feel safe, usually high. They sell when things feel scary, usually low. And all of it is triggered by constant checking. Now compare that to someone who checks their portfolio once a month, or even once a quarter. They experience fewer emotional spikes,
Too much.
fewer impulsive decisions, more consistency. And consistency is what actually builds wealth. There's another shift that happens when you stop checking daily, and this one is huge. You stop obsessing over small fluctuations and start focusing on big inputs. Instead of watching your portfolio move $200 up or down, please subscribe to my channel so I can release more videos.
Great, thanks for subscribing.
You start asking, how can I invest another $1,000? How can I increase my income? How can I stay invested longer? You move from being a spectator to being a builder. Because here's the truth. Wealth isn't built by watching money.
Come on, grow already. Ugh, it's stuck. What a ripoff.
It's built by adding to it and leaving it alone. And once you internalize this, something interesting happens. The market stops feeling like a threat and starts feeling like a tool. A drop isn't scary anymore. It's just part of the process. A spike isn't exciting. It's expected over time. You detach emotionally. And that detachment is what allows you to stay consistent when everyone else is panicking. Let's talk about opportunity for a second. When you're constantly checking your portfolio, your attention is trapped. You're focused on something you can't control. But when you step away, you free up mental space. Space to think about bigger moves. Your career, your business, your skills, and things that actually increase your ability to build wealth. And here's the irony. The people who check their portfolios the least are often the ones whose portfolios grow the most. Not because they're smarter, but because they don't interrupt the process. Now, this doesn't mean you ignore your investments completely. It means you interact with them intentionally. You review, you rebalance, you invest consistently. But you don't hover, because the moment you stop checking daily, you stop tying your emotions to random fluctuations. You stop making decisions out of fear, and you finally give your money the one thing it actually needs to grow: time. Look, checking your portfolio feels productive. It feels responsible.
Oh no, down 5%. This can't be happening.
But most of the time, it's just
Your
disguised
anxiety
anxiety.
is unleashed. Get away. No, not again.
And until you break that habit, you'll always be reacting instead of building. So if you want to build real wealth, start here. Stop checking your portfolio every day. Let the market do its thing. Focus on what you can control.
Take control of your future.
And give your investments the space to grow.
Patience brings the best result.
Because your future wealth doesn't depend on what happens today. It depends on whether you can stay consistent long enough to let it happen at all. And here's the final layer most people never reach. Even if you understand all of this intellectually, your nervous system will fight you. Because checking feels like doing something. And doing something feels better than doing nothing, even when nothing is exactly the right thing. So let me give you a simple rule that will save you years of regret. Check your portfolio once per quarter. That's 4 times a year. Mark those dates on your calendar right now. Outside of those dates, the app doesn't exist. If you can't trust yourself, delete the apps entirely. Access your accounts only through a computer browser. And log out every single time. Make checking so inconvenient that your lazy brain gives up before you even try. Here's what will happen when you do this. The first week will feel weird. You'll feel a phantom itch to open your phone. That's just withdrawal. It passes. The second week, you'll realize nothing bad happened. The market didn't collapse because you weren't watching. Shocking, right? By the third week, you'll start noticing something unexpected. You have more mental energy. You're thinking about work, about life, about things you actually control. And by the first month, you'll wonder why you ever tortured yourself daily. But the real magic comes later. One day, maybe 6 months from now, you'll open your quarterly statement and you'll see growth that feels almost unfair. Money you didn't earn, money you didn't stress over, money that just showed up because you got out of your own way. That feeling right there, that's what wealth actually feels like. Not the dopamine hit of a green day, not the panic of a red day, just quiet, boring, inevitable growth. And here's the secret that no trading guru will ever tell you. The stock market is one of the few places where doing less is doing more, where patience outperforms intelligence, where your worst enemy isn't a market crash, it's your own twitchy fingers. So let me leave you with this. Every time you feel the urge to check your portfolio, ask yourself one question. Is this action going to make me richer in 10 years? If the answer is no, and it almost always is, then don't do it. Go for a walk, read a book, work on your business, call someone you love. Do literally anything except feeding the anxiety. Because the people who win this game aren't the ones who check the most. They're the ones who check the least and live the most, and that could be you. Starting today. Please subscribe to my channel so I can release more videos.
Great, thanks for subscribing.